Hello everyone, welcome to my first tutorial. A lot of people have been asking me how I make these little guys, and they all follow the same general pattern: the body, the legs, the eyes, the big googly eyes, as you can see. So there's a pig, the cat, which is my favorite, the chicken, another favorite, and then an Easter bunny with rabid red eyes. But today I'm going to be showing you how to make a monkey. So for that, you're gonna need the base color of your monkey. I'm going to be using this orange, and then a color that is lighter and similar to the base color, and then white and black for the eyeballs, a 2.75 millimeter crochet hook. You're also going to be needing a sewing needle, preferably a small one, and a stitch marker. So let's get started. I'm going to be taking the base color. This tutorial is not really going to go in depth too much for beginners. So to learn a lot of these magic circles, you can watch YouTube videos. There's so many and they'll explain it way better than I can. But we're going to be making a magic circle, and inside the magic circle we're going to be putting 6 single crochets. Then we're going to take the tail and tighten the circle. The next step is we're going to be increasing all the way around. So in the first stitch, do a single crochet. So that's 1, and then we're going to take our stitch marker and place it on that stitch we just did. And because we're increasing, we're going to be putting another single crochet into the same stitch, and then you're going to be putting 2 in each stitch from that point. If you count your stitches, you should have 12 single crochets. We're going to remove our stitch marker, and now we're going to do 1 single crochet and then increase. 1 single crochet, increase. So we're going to place 1 single crochet, put the stitch marker back, and then increase, which means 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And we're going to do that all the way around. So now we're at our last stitch, and you should always end in a double, or an increase, sorry. You should have 18 stitches at this point. According to the pattern, the next step is to just single crochet around for the next 3 rows. We're going to remove our stitch marker, place a single crochet, and remember to mark that stitch. And now we're just going to single crochet around for 3 rows. Now that we've single crocheted around for 3 rows, we're going to begin decreasing. So remove the stitch marker, and what we're going to be doing is 1 single crochet and then what's called an invisible decrease. So I'll show you that real quick. So there's a single crochet and then an invisible decrease. So you're going to take the front loop only and then the front loop only of the next stitch as well. You're going to yarn over and go through both of those, yarn over and pull through. So that's an invisible decrease, and that's what we're going to be using throughout this pattern. So now we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then we're going to decrease again. And we're just going to do that all the way around. You'll begin to notice that this is turning into a ball, and the hole is getting smaller. The next step is to do the same exact thing that we just did, which is 1 single crochet, decrease, 1 single crochet, decrease. So here's what we have left. Your last stitch should have been a decrease, and if it was, that means you're doing the right thing. So we can take this tail and just stuff it inside the ball, which is the head of the monkey, like so. The next step is to increase all the way around. And remember, increase is putting 2 single crochets into each stitch. After increasing, you'll begin to notice that the ball that we've made is expanding again. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing that we did here, which is single crochet, increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So we're going to do that all the way around. Single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase. So here's the single crochet, which is just 1 single crochet, and then an increase. So there's 1 and then 2 in the same stitch. So do that all the way around. If you've done the right thing, your last stitch should have been an increase. And now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna single crochet all the way around for 4 rows. I'll show you. So we're gonna put 1. Remember to put your stitch marker. And then we're just gonna put 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around for the next 4 rows. Once you've finished single crocheting around for 4 rows, you're gonna stuff the head. You have to do this now before we start decreasing. The next step is to single crochet and then invisible decrease. So I already did the first single crochet, and then you're gonna do an invisible decrease. And you're gonna do this all the way around. So that was the decrease. And now we're gonna single crochet and then invisible decrease. And you're gonna do that all the way around. Once you've finished that row, we're gonna do the same exact thing again. So single crochet, place your stitch marker back, and then invisible decrease. And you're gonna follow that pattern all the way around. The last stitch of this row is going to end in a single crochet. So unlike the other rows where it should have ended on a decrease or an increase, this one is okay to end on a single crochet. So now we're going to remove our stitch marker because we won't be needing that anymore, and we're going to fasten off. All you do is yarn over and then pull the thread. You want to leave enough room to sew this hole closed. So make sure you cut and you have enough yarn, and you're just gonna pull that through and tighten it. So now we have what appears to look like a snowman, and we're gonna take some fiber fill and stuff this part up. Okay, I've just finished stuffing the body, and honestly I like to stuff them pretty firm just because it's a keychain. It's going to be rumbling around everywhere. You don't want it to get squashed. I think the firmer the better. So now we're going to sew this hole closed with the front loops only, so the loops facing you. So you can see here, to get a bit closer, there's 2 loops. There's a back loop and then a front loop. You want to go through the front loop only. So from underneath and out. All right, so now we're at the end, and just pull that as tight as you can. It's a bit tight. Weave in these and it'll close that hole up a lot better. So there we have it, the completed body. And now we're gonna do the legs and the arms. To make the legs, we're gonna be using the same color that we used to make the body. So You're going to make a slip knot, leaving enough room for the tail so that you can sew the leg in later. So there's a slip knot, and you're going to chain 19. So once we've chained 19, we're going to single crochet from the 5th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this one. So just go in and put a single crochet. Now we have this little weird looking loop, and we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the same hole, the same one that we single crocheted in, we're going to put another single crochet. So now we have 2 of these little weird loops. Chain 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and single crochet in the same hole. So now we have 3 little fingers, and we're just going to slip stitch back up this chain. So insert your hook, pull the yarn through both loops. Once you've gotten to the top, you're just gonna fall out, cut, leaving enough space. And you're gonna do the same exact thing to make the other leg. All right, so now we have 2 legs. And making the arms is the same exact thing, except with the smaller chain. So I'll show you how to do that right now. We're going to make a slip knot with a long tail. Not too long, you don't really need that much. And we are going to chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 11, 12. And from the 4th chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to single crochet. All right, now we're going to chain 3. And in the same exact hole, single crochet. Chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the same hole. So now we have 3 little fingers, and we're going to slip stitch back up the chain. So at the end, we're just going to fasten off. And do the same exact thing to make the second arm. Now we have 2 arms and 2 legs. We're going to make the tail for the monkey. So first you just make a slip knot, and the tail of the slip knot, leave it long enough so that you can sew it onto the body. And all you're going to do is chain 20. And once you've chained 20, you're going to slip stitch back to the top. So in the second chain from the hook, put your hook through, pull the yarn over both loops, and you're just going to do that all the way to the end. Once you've reached the end, you're just going to fasten off, leaving a tail long enough. And honestly, the tail is optional. If your monkey is going to be like a chimp, they don't usually have tails, but I think I'm going to do a tail for this one. Now we're going to be making the ears for the monkey. They're going to look like this. And you're just going to sew them to the side. So to do that, you're going to make a magic circle. And place 3 single crochets inside the circle. 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to take the tail, pull it as hard as you can. Okay. And then fasten off and leave a tail long enough to sew it onto the body. So make 2 of these, and those will be the ears. Now we're going to make the mouth, nose area of the monkey. It's going to look like the pig. It's just an oval that we're going to sew onto the face. So to do that, you're going to make a slip knot. Leave the tail. Make sure it's nice and long. And then we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this part is a little bit confusing, so I'm just going to go step by step. In the second chain from the hook, we're going to single crochet all the way down. 1, 2, and 3 in the last chain. So now that we've single crocheted back, in the same stitch, we're going to add 2 more single crochets. 1, 2. So now there's a total of 3 in the same stitch, like that. We're going to turn the work, and we're going to continue not in this same stitch, but in the next stitch. Make sure you go under both loops, and you're just going to single crochet. And then in the next stitch, do another single crochet. Okay, so now you have this oval, and you're going to add 1 more single crochet into the same stitch that you just did, and it'll look like this. And you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch and then fasten off, leaving a tail long enough to sew the mouth on, like that. We're almost done. We're down to the last steps, which is the eyes. So with white yarn, we're going to make a magic ring, and inside this magic ring, we're gonna put 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to pull the tail, and then we're going to single crochet around, so that'll be 5 single crochets. After pulling the tail, it's kind of hard to get into the next stitch because they're so tight, but just try your best. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it just makes a little ball. Don't worry about flipping it inside out. Should look like this, and then we're just going to fasten off, leave a tail, and do the same exact thing for the other eye. Now we have 2 little eyes, and I'm going to show you how to make the pupils, which is pretty easy. So you're going to cut about, I want to say, the length of your hand. Okay, and tie a knot into the center, not too tight, just very loose, like that. And do that a total of 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 5th one can be tight. Now you're going to take your yarn needle and thread one of the ends through, and right now you see how it's just long, it's not a ball. You're going to go into the front, as close as you can to the front of this. That's why we made our first stitch loose. Doesn't have to be perfect, just as close as you can get, and thread it through. So now we have a ball. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like that. And take the eye, and you see how there's the hole? That is what's going to be sewn to the body. So that goes down. You're going to insert the needle into the center of the magic ring and out through the hole. So now the pupil is attached to the eyeball, and with the other end, thread it through. Make sure that you do not thread this through the same hole. You're going to go into any hole next to the center of the magic ring. So it doesn't matter where, just going to put it like right here. Just as close as possible, but not the same hole. Thread it through and pull that tight. Now we're going to take the tails and just tie them together as hard as you can. 1, 2, and 3. And then just cut that, not too close. And just stuff the ends into the eye as best as you can. It's okay if it's sticking out a bit because it's going to be sewn down anyway. So now you have 2 little googly eyes. I'm sorry about the lighting, it's getting dark, but luckily we're almost done. So now we're just going to take all of our pieces. This is the most tedious part of the project. I'm not going to show you how to sew it since that's pretty self-explanatory. I'll just show you where to sew it. Here's how it looks with the face sewn on. I actually forgot to do a step, which is to embroider the nose, but you can do that later. Now that we've sewn the face and the ears, yeah, the ears are a little lopsided, I know, but honestly the best thing about these little wonky characters is that it doesn't have to be perfect at all. But anyway, so I'm going to show you how to embroider the nose and the mouth. This should have been done before we sewed the face to the head, but it's still possible. So once I finish the face, I'm going to exit out through the same hole that I entered through. I'm going to tie 1 knot, and then I'm going to make sure that it'll go through. I'm going to cut as close as I can and then just push that knot into the head. So now it's secure, and here is the face. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Now we're going to sew the eyes on. So I just added some embroidery on the stomach piece. Not sure if I'm going to remove this or not, just because I kind of like didn't even try to make it look nice, but I'm gonna add one last finishing touch, which is the little hair at the top. I already added the keychain just so I can see if it would block the hair or not, and I don't think it will. So just take a piece of the base color, I'm just gonna thread it from the side and then exit through the top of the magic circle, which is that little ring. Then I'm just going to tie the 2 tails together just gonna add 2 knots for extra security. And with your fingers or the sewing needle, the yarn needle, sorry, just pull these apart. And I'm gonna do it a little bit more, but just cut it so that it looks like this. Not too long, not too short. The shorter the better, actually, just because it doesn't look as weird. And then separate, once you separated them, separate the actual fibers itself. I'm just gonna take the hair and cut it a bit shorter. All right. And that's how it looks. He's got little fuzzy hairs at the top of his head. And that's the finished product. That's the finished little monkey. I think it's really cute. I really like the hairs, the embroidered stomach, everything. And he looks super cute next to his little friends. I hope this tutorial was helpful for everyone. I'm really sorry if I was unclear a lot of times, just because this is the first time I ever made a tutorial, but I hope to make some more in the future, and hopefully I'll get better at it. I'll be able to explain things a bit better. But if this helped you, let me know. Feel free to contact me on any of my social medias that I'll have linked down below. Any questions you have or any recommendations for tutorials on any of these that you would like to see. There's also a written pattern down below if that's easier for you to follow. Let me know. It's great to hear back from you guys, knowing that this tutorial helped you.